All right. One, two. All right. I've been told several times through my life, be strong now because things will get better. And it might be stormy now, but the rain can't last forever. I never really understood what this quote meant or the significance it would later have onto my life until around a year ago. On April 13th, 2020, my dad was making spaghetti. And before I feel the judgment, no, my life did not have a great impact over a plate of food. Instead, it was because of what happened afterwards. As we were eating the spaghetti with the rest of my family, my mom finally returned home from the hospital, where she sat down and broke into tears, saying, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Nobody ever wants to hear the words come out from their loved one, especially when it's your parent at 16, because you have yet to complete so many milestones that you want them with to be there with you. It's like graduating high school, going to college, having kids, buying a house, and so many great things that life offers you. My sister, luckily, is a radiation therapist, so she has a wide variety of knowledge about cancer. She was able to explain to the rest of my family that, in fact, my sister was my mother, was very lucky. She was diagnosed at an early stage, meaning that there was various options for my mother to get cured and stop this cancer. However, I knew from this day on that my life would change forever because even though it's early, it's something that sticks with you for the rest of your life. To calm myself during this time period, I decided to research a bit more about what it was and its effects it would later have onto my life. So I looked up what cancer was, the different stages. I looked up about how it's affected millions of people worldwide. But the most important piece of information that I took from this was actually about Rotary. I learned that in countries like Senegal and Sri Lanka, they had provided so much opportunities and resources for people to better their health of cancer. I learned that they had support groups, they had fundraisers, portable testing sites, and so much more. And this was a very interesting thing to me to the point that I decided that I needed to do the same thing. Except the only thing that stopped myself from doing this was the sad truth, myself, my self-conscious. And I believe during this time, if I can't barely control my own emotions with my own mom, how am I capable of being a good contributor of my community? But I realized the amount of opportunities that Rotary actually offered to students that are in Interact Club and all of the other communities that they provide for actually gave me a lot of reasons as to why I should. It provided me so many skill sets that I learned along the way as I um, went throughout high school. The first being leadership. Through RILA, I was able to participate in several leadership activities. And I learned through this about what the real idea of a leader is. A leader is someone who has integrity, is courageous, truthful, and they're able to listen to others of their team and be a good representative overall. And not to toot my own horn, but I think that I have those qualities. And another thing that I learned from Rotary as well was the idea of service above self. And one of the many things that I learned through volunteering was that very phrase. And one significant moment that really touched me was Meals of Hope, in which I was able to package, along with other classmates of mine, meals that would go to families that are in need for them. So as I was doing this, I felt a bit tired afterwards, but I felt good as in along with the rest of my classmates after completing all of this, especially because I understand what it meant to not be able to eat something when you come back from school. So this really touched me, and I was so grateful that I could do the same opportunity back to my community too. And lastly, there is one more big opportunity that Rotary provided me, which was guidance. And what I mean by this, my teacher, Interact Club sponsor, and Rotarian, Miss O'Toole, was a great piece of, how do I say this, provided me lots of advice, was a great counselor, and overall a very good person that showed me what it meant to be an active member of your community. She was one of the first adults that I told about my mom when she was diagnosed. because I knew that she could help me with my idea about trying to do something to contribute back to my community. Together, we were able to create the CAC, or the Cancer Awareness Club, at Mountain View High School. And although we're relatively new and a little bit small, we have been able to do some things over this chaotic period of time. We have been able to write some hopeful messages on behind hand sanitizer bottles for patients at the Potomac Radiation Oncology Center. We've been able to have a member start a fundraiser for breast cancer through her soap business. And we're starting now a new project to help those who undergo chemotherapy or radiation therapy and some pain in the upper chest region by providing them handmade pork pillows. And throughout this whole experience of this last year, there is one very important lesson that I learned that Rotary provided me. And it was the idea that I was able to learn more about myself. And what I mean, without Rotary and Interact Club and this big community that was provided to me since freshman year, I wouldn't be able to learn that I could be a leader, or that could be a community member, or that I can rely on somebody to tell them about my experiences and to trust them and help me along the way. So I am forever thankful for Rotary to help me through this amazing opportunity to help me throughout this whole process. And that's it. Thank you so much.